As you can see by this map, in the United States and even parts of Canada, there are now areas that are sold out. So this is nothing new for Starlink overall, but it is new for 2024. We haven't seen a wait list with Starlink in a long time, and I'm kind of surprised that there's large areas of the United States and Canada that are at capacity that they will not sell you a residential subscription in. So in this video, I thought it'd be fun to kind of do an experiment to see if we can bend the rules a little bit and actually get around Starlink's newest waitlisted areas. So previously, there really wasn't a workaround for the waitlist. If your address was at capacity and there wasn't any residential availability, you really could just use the roam service plan, which was deprioritized. You couldn't actually get into a residential subscription. So I'm curious if this new system, since it has returned, is any different, and if we can actually bypass the waitlist, bypass those sold out areas, and be able to sign up for a residential subscription in one of these areas. So let's jump right into it. And before we get too far into it, I just want to let you know Starlink's policies and their systems can change at any time. So by the time you're watching this video, this loophole might not even work. And also, I'm not advocating that anybody go do this. This is just kind of a cool, interesting experiment for me. I thought I'd film it and let you know the results. So let's pretend like we live somewhere in this sold out area around Portland. I've got an address loaded up here. If I can type, there we go. So as you can see, this address is in the sold out area according to this Starlink residential availability map. If I click order now, that is confirmed because I get the message on the screen that Starlink is at capacity in your area. Order now to reserve your Starlink. So what it's doing here is charging you a $99 deposit, and that gets you on the wait list. When capacity expands, you're in line to get Starlink service. Once it's available, they'll email you, and then you can pay the full amount and get your Starlink unit delivered. But what if you live in one of these areas and you don't want to wait? You need residential service and you don't want to sit there on the wait list waiting for an email from Starlink. Well, let's see if we can get around it. So the first thing that I wanted to try was maybe, since you can order roam pretty much anywhere in the United States, there's no restrictions at all for roam. I thought maybe, hey, what if we bought a roam kit, bought the standard roam kit, put it on a roam unlimited service plan? Could we just change our plan to residential later on? I did try that. The answer is no. So Starlink, if your service address is in one of those sold out areas that we saw before, Starlink will not allow you to change your service plan to residential. So the second thing that I wanted to try was, okay, what if we activated a residential subscription in an available address anywhere else in the country? Could we just update our service address into the sold out area? So that's what we're going to try. I have another address here. This time it is in an area that is available. And as you can see, I can load it up here and order it right away. It arrives in 1 to 2 weeks and I can get the regular residential service. The key here is that if you click on use alternative payment method when you're ordering, you can fill out your contact information, and most importantly, you can specify a different shipping address. So the way that this method works to get around the waitlist, you're going to order Starlink for an address that is available, such as this one. You're going to come down here and you're going to fill out the shipping address. This should be not the address that's up here because this isn't your house. The shipping address should be your actual physical location where you need the Starlink shipped to. And then you can come back further and uncheck this box and fill out your actual billing address as well. So just to reiterate, I'm ordering for an address that I know is available for residential, and then I'm shipping it to my actual location, filling out my billing address to my actual location. So the only thing that this address right here has anything to do with is the service address, and that determines if we can order Starlink or not. Once you've ordered your Starlink and it's shipped out and been delivered, it will show up on the Starlink account dashboard on the starlink.com website. And your account dashboard will look something like this with your service plan. You can see the address here, the service address, that's where I ordered Starlink for. You can see it's on the residential plan. So the next step here is you're going to have an error message like this. It's going to say, unexpected location, please use your Starlink at its registered address. You will not be able to use the dish that you just bought at your actual location because it's not matching the service address that's up here. To fix that, you have to come up here, click on Edit Service Address, and we're going to change this to our actual physical address, our actual location that we're trying to order for. And remember, this address was in that waitlisted area. And then I'm going to click, oh, let me try that again. There we go. And then I'm going to click Check Availability. Now the key here and why this loophole currently works is that Starlink isn't actually checking for residential availability when you click that button. It's not actually checking. So you could put in any address in here, whether it's listed as sold out or not, and then hit Confirm Address Change. And it will update the address on your account. So now that the service address matches your actual physical location where your dish is trying to be located, where you're trying to use it at, now your service will work, and within about 20 minutes, you should see this message go away. You can set up your Starlink and it will work like normal. So the key here is really that when you change your service address, Starlink is not actually checking for residential availability or any capacity restrictions. Now, it's important to note that they could change that anytime. They've done this before where previous loopholes and workarounds have existed due to this change address tool, and they fixed it. But it looks like for this latest iteration with the sold out areas and the waitlisted areas, they haven't implemented that yet. So if you're in one of these sold out areas, which are quite large, larger than they used to be in the old waitlist setup, that is how you could do a bypass and actually get residential service at your address in a sold out area, even though right now it shouldn't be available.